Imagine for a moment that you run your own computer company.
Hi. Is there something I can help you with this afternoon?
I need some software for my computer.
What kind of computer do you have?
A Commodore?
Oh, you're in the right place. It's the Commodore. Well, what kind of a program were you looking for?
Something to help.
You're thinking of expanding your business, so you want to find out how other companies of this size have been doing financially, and whether any of your competitors has expanded in a similar way. Where would you go for this information? Believe it or not, you can find volumes of information on businesses at the library. There was a time when people thought the library was merely a place to find a good book. But today, libraries offer much more. You can find microfiche and microfilm files of newspapers and magazine articles, scores of indexes, business profiles, legal case history collections, research abstracts, videotape and record collections, and computer programs which locate resources in libraries across the country. For example, if you want a profile on your business competitors, you can tap into special directories and indexes that will give you the specific information you need. Business publications like Standard & Poor's, Moody's Industrial Manual, and the Value Line all profile businesses and give information on profitability, subsidiaries, and assets. A directory known as CIRR, which stands for Corporate and Industry Research Reports, provides brokerage house reports if you want to know the financial health of a company. Our program today will introduce you to the many services now available in libraries. Modern libraries, or learning resource centers as they are sometimes called, store two basic types of materials, print and non-print. A third type, of course, is electronic. Print materials include books and periodicals, those materials that are printed on paper. Non-print materials include microfilm, microfiche, records, audio and video tapes, and films. Electronic materials are those that are available through computer databases. Among the print materials, there are books that circulate. That is, they may be taken out of the library. And there are books that may not be taken out and must remain in the library at all times. Reference books fall into the category of non-circulating material. Reference books include encyclopedias, atlases, dictionaries, and the like. Generally, these are books which you wouldn't want to read from cover to cover. Rather, you'd use portions of the book to look up useful facts or information about a narrower subject. You might use only one paragraph or one page out of the whole book for any given research project, though the book as a whole lists hundreds of topics. Generally, reference books are found in one section or on one floor of a library. But before you begin to explore the reference section yourself, you may want to consult the reference librarian.
Excuse me. I was wondering if you could help me. I'm doing a project on the right to die, euthanasia, for a debate in my speech class, and I'm really not sure where to begin.
Would you like current information?
The most current possible.
I think we should use the periodical indexes, and I'd like to show you academic index on InfoTrac. It's right around the corner here.
Oh, okay.
There are so many reference books available, you may not be aware of all that relate to your topic. The reference librarian can steer you in the right direction. Or you may use the library catalogs to look up reference materials. The catalog listings will tell you where the books can be found. Later in the program, we will show you how to use a computer catalog. Generally speaking, circulating books are those that have been written on a single topic, such as a book on North American whales or European filmmakers or great disasters of the 20th century. These books are grouped and classified according to subject, like history, philosophy, religion, law, etc. Most libraries use one of two systems to organize books, so you can find them readily. The first is called the Library of Congress Classification System. It is the one used by most college libraries. The Library of Congress system uses a combination of letters and numbers to create a call number. The call number puts books on the same subject together. It can also be thought of like an address, giving you the location of a particular book. Once you know the call number of a book, you can locate the aisle, section, and shelf where the book can be found. Finding a book by the classification system is fairly simple. Follow the numbers in order, just as you do for house numbers, and you'll know where to look. Here's the way books are classified by the Library of Congress system. The call numbers for all books dealing with education, for example, begin with the letter L. Science books start with Q, and all medical books R. Within each large category, books may be further categorized with additional letters. For example, G includes all general geography books, while GA designates mathematical and astronomical geography books. GB represents books on physical geography, and GC includes books on oceanology and oceanography. You don't need to memorize all the letters and what they stand for. Every library posts this information for you. You merely need to be familiar with how it works so you can find the books you want more easily. Every library which uses this system files books in the same manner. The other commonly used method to group books is the Dewey Decimal System. This system is used by many public libraries. The Dewey Decimal System uses a 3-digit number, not a letter, for the main categories. Following the number is a decimal and another number, or series of numbers, which tells you the subcategory of the book. The main categories are designated by the 3-digit numbers. With this system, books on religion will be found in the 200s, history books in the 900s, and so forth. Each of these categories is further subdivided as follows. In the past, the call number for any book could be found by looking up the subject, author, or title in a card catalog. Today, however, more and more libraries, both public and academic, are shifting from card catalogs to more efficient and less bulky methods. In most libraries, you can use either microfiche or computers to locate a book. By looking up the author's name, the title, or the general subject heading, you can find what resource materials are available for your area of research. Microfiche is a complicated word for this. It is nothing more than an oversized piece of film.
First, we'll insert the microfiche into the machine, locating the subject of AIDS.
In order to read the microfiche, you have to use a special machine that magnifies the print.
There's lots of material available here at our campus on AIDS. Is the subject, the author's last name, the title, as well as the publication date. You would like to write down the call number.
Okay.
And the location.
Increasingly, more and more libraries are converting to computerized systems. There are basically two types of systems: online systems connected to a mainframe computer, and CD-ROM, which uses compact discs updated on a regular basis. You may encounter a variety of names for these systems, such as LAPAC, Bibliophile, InfoTrac, or Computer Library, to name only a few. But regardless of the name, library catalog systems are accessed in similar ways by author, title, or subject. All electronic or computer catalogs contain their own step-by-step on-screen instructions to guide you in their use. If you've never used a computer before, it's a good idea to ask a librarian to show you how it works. Later, you can use the on-screen assistance programs if you need help. Briefly, here's how to use one type of a computerized catalog system.
We can certainly demonstrate the use of either of those ways of accessing if you tell me what you need.
Well, I was looking for something on the environment. I'm doing a report on global warming.
All right. Well, we can certainly do that. Now, let's begin by pressing the Enter key, the red key.
Right.
And if you take the blinking light down one space to
With the
title,
cursor?
with the cursor, this key
Okay.
right here, to the next one you'll find a space for subject. So if you feed in your subject, all right,
Shall I-
press the red key. That
Okay.
starts the action. And as you see, it says, please wait. It's searching the database.
Okay.
All right, now you see you have access to several entries. You can see that there is 1, 2, 3, 4 items on your subject.
I would like something fairly recent.
Fairly recent, all right.
1989, I see it.
You have your title, your author, and the title is
Cool Energy.
Cool Energy.
The renewal solution to global
The
warming.
renewal solution to global warming. And you have your publication date. If you've decided that that's what you want, then what you need to do is to find its location.
That's on the catalog number there?
That's the catalog number with the location. If that's what you want, then you can print that entry out and actually use it to go to the shelves. So if you press print screen, you'll get the entire record.
Computer and subject. Occasionally, however, you may need to find a single chapter of a book or an essay in a book which deals with the subject you're researching. For example, your library may not have one of the books written entirely about the Hindenburg disaster. However, you may find a chapter devoted to this crash in a book about great disasters of the 20th century. Or there may be mention of the incident in a book on journalism, since this was the first live coverage of a disaster. In order to find essays which have been compiled into an anthology, try looking up your subject in the Essay in General Literature Index. You may find this index especially helpful when writing a literary paper.
To you that you might try Essay in General Literature Index, and the reason is that art censorship is a social sciences and a humanities question, both, and this index is particularly strong in those two disciplines. I recommend starting with the most recent and going backward through this index.
Okay.
Try directly into the term censorship. Yeah.
Okay. It's right here. It's under Cuba and the United States.
Okay. And I think I heard you say that you were confining yourself to the United States. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have an article there that looks interesting to you? From its title?
This one looks good. The Pleasures of Looking, the Attorney General's Commission on Pornography versus Visual Images.
Yeah, that would relate to what you're talking about. What that tells you is who wrote the article. What the article is really an essay, not an article. Where it appears, you see in parenthesis, in, and then the title of a collection of essays in which this one appears. And it tells you on what pages in that collection it appears.
Okay.
In the back of this index, there's a list of all of these collections that have been indexed. So with any luck at all, that book will be in the collection.
All right, so I'd find it in the book called In.
In is just a direction to indicate to you where it appears. Okay. The critical image is the title of the collection in which this essay appears. And who published it? You need to look under critical image in this list.
So I wouldn't have to look under the...
No.
Okay. Here it is.
Okay.
It's published by Bay Press.
Bay Press. The beauty of this is it's the only way I know of that you can get to parts of books about your subject.
Okay.
Now, for more information about that book, you can look in the back of this index to find out the publisher and all of that in case you would like to request it on Interlibrary Loan from another library.
Another type of print material available in libraries is periodicals. The term periodicals includes publications issued at regular intervals, whether daily, weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Periodicals, then, are newspapers, magazines, and journals. Unlike books, there is not one central catalog for periodicals, but there are several ways to find articles on a given subject. A major source for locating articles is the Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature. The Reader's Guide is the most widely used general topic index, listing articles written in 200 of the most popular magazines and journals from as far back as 1900. Any article written in magazines like Time, Newsweek, Ebony, Reader's Digest, Popular Mechanics, Scientific American, and the like will be indexed here. To find an article on a given subject, look up the subject in the guide. The Reader's Guide does not have access by title and only limited access by author. For example, you may find only one article written on the Hells Angels in 1984. However, in 1985, you will find that 3 articles are listed. Bear in mind that each year's listing contains only those articles written in the year of the volume you are using. So you must consider the years you need to cover for your topic when making a search through the Reader's Guide. If you want current information on a subject, search this year's listings first before checking the previous years. Depending on the subject, you may want to go as far back as 5 years to get current information. After you have the names of the magazines or journals that contain the articles you want to read, you need to find the periodicals section in the library. Most libraries post or otherwise display a periodicals list, which tells you where the periodicals can be found. Some periodicals are bound. Others may be found on microfiche or microfilm. Remember, the Reader's Guide is an excellent resource for finding articles on general subjects, such as helicopters, runaways, or the budget deficit. It will show you what's been written about these topics in the popular media, such as Newsweek and Time. However, if you're writing on a more specialized topic for a specific course, for example, you'll need to consult the specialized periodical indexes for the particular discipline you're researching. There are literally scores of these specialized indexes: the Art Index, Education Index, Biography Index. There's even a Criminal Justice Index, which lists articles only on law enforcement issues. 3 widely used indexes for students in this course are the Social Sciences Index, the Humanities Index, and the Applied Science and Technology Index. Some of these indexes are also available by computer. InfoTrac, a magazine index, and magazine article summaries, for example, fall into this category. The listings and abbreviations in these indexes are similar to those in the Reader's Guide. Most indexes provide a key at the beginning of each volume which explains the abbreviations used. Remember to start with the periodicals list after identifying the articles you want to read. You may find that some of the journals you're looking for aren't owned by your library. The periodicals list will indicate that before you waste your time trying to locate a journal that isn't there. It's virtually impossible for a library to purchase all the periodicals published. However, if there's an article you feel you simply can't do without, you have several options. Ask your librarian about Interlibrary Loans.
Okay. This is the form that is required to fill it out and request the information that you need.
Although your library may not carry a specific periodical, other libraries close to you may have the very journal you're looking for. The article you want can be copied and sent to your library for a fee, and if the request meets copyright regulations, of course. Some libraries are able to conduct a computerized search which can identify and locate articles on a given subject, as well as indicate another location for the article you want, again, for a fee. Or you can write to the magazine or journal directly and request a copy of the issue in which the article appeared. However, all of these alternatives are time-consuming and may be costly. As a beginning writer, you should choose a topic with available resources. If you are considering 2 or 3 different topics, you may want to check with your librarian to find out which topic has available resources. That piece of information may help you select your subject more quickly.
You should be able to find plenty of information, both in books and magazine articles, and newspaper articles if you would like some of those.
If you want to check newspaper articles on your subject, there are 2 places you can look. The first is a service known as Newsbank. Newsbank lists articles that have appeared in local newspapers. First, consult the index to Newsbank. Newsbank can be a very helpful service if you're looking up a topic which may not have made national news. For example, let's say you're writing about a particular drug smuggling sting called Operation Grouper. Since this was a small case and there are so many drug arrests each year in this country, it is unlikely the story would have made it to the national news. However, let's say you know that the sting took place primarily in Savannah, Georgia and South Florida. It is likely that local newspapers in Georgia and Florida did cover the story. By searching through the index using the correct year and subject, you can find which newspaper articles are available on Operation Grouper. You can then read the article on microfiche. Electronic newspaper indexes, both local and national, may also be available. Again, if your library doesn't have the particular article or newspaper you need, you can contact the newspaper itself, or perhaps easier still, ask your librarian to contact the library in that city and request copies of the article through Interlibrary Loan.
I need to have the author, the title, the publisher, the periodical title, the volume.
Most libraries keep at least one or two major newspapers, such as the New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post, or Wall Street Journal on microfilm or microfiche. Print indexes listing the stories found in those newspapers are also available. Libraries may keep back issues of your local paper and possibly the major regional paper on microfilm as well. Finding non-print materials, such as records, tapes, or films on a given subject, is no different from looking for print materials. A library's holdings of AV materials will be listed in the library catalog. Do not overlook non-print materials when researching a topic. They contain much useful information and can be referenced along with your books and periodicals. Note that most libraries will not lend audiovisual and non-print materials through Interlibrary Loan. You may want to stick to the resources that are more readily available. So it's easy to see why libraries are called the storehouses of knowledge, or more dynamically, information centers. Having a library card is like having a passport through time and across space. Libraries contain the first thoughts written down thousands of years ago, and the latest news published this morning in newspapers from around the world. Every possible format for the recording of information is available here. Books, magazines, newspapers, records, audio and videotapes, films, and even computers set up to network with information sources around the country. But libraries are more than mere centers for information. Libraries also offer a number of useful services. If you need a place to read, study, or do your writing, tables and desks are available, as well as individual study carrels. Most libraries have conference rooms for group work, or if you need a quiet place for a meeting. You can probably find a specially designated area for viewing videotapes and films, as well as tape players for audio cassettes. Copy machines are usually available if you need to copy an article or report. You can even find typewriters and word processors for typing your papers. Now that you have a general overview of libraries and all that's available in them, you may be wondering what to do with it all. We'll be talking about choosing and limiting a research topic in another lesson. But for now, let's assume you already have a good idea of what you want to write about. Where in the library do you begin, and how do you proceed? The best place to begin your search for information may be with an encyclopedia or general reference. General encyclopedias cover all areas of knowledge. You probably used an encyclopedia for a report you wrote in elementary school. But there are also subject encyclopedias, such as the Encyclopedia of Food. Another good beginning source is the library catalog system, whether it be on microfiche, computer, or cards. Here you can find all the books your library has on your topic. If you find 15 or 20 books on your topic, some published recently, you know you'll have a much easier time finding information than if the catalog lists only one book. You can also get valuable information from the card catalog or computerized record itself. For an individual entry, in addition to the date of publication, the catalog will tell you which books have bibliographies. In other words, which books have a list of other sources on the same subject. Also, at the bottom of each card or computer record, you can find other subject headings which relate to your topic. Just as a surveyor will often step off a piece of land to get a rough idea of its dimensions before actually taking out the tape measure and surveying equipment, the catalog can help you survey the general terrain of your subject. And remember to check out the Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature as a beginning source. If your topic is particularly current, you may find that magazines and journals are more useful than books, and that you will use books only for background or the history of your topic. However, the Reader's Guide lists mainly popular magazines, so your search shouldn't end here. Remember that each specialized field of knowledge, from psychology to the police beat, has publications written for people in that field. If, for example, you're interested in the controversy over abortion, you can find plenty of information in magazines like Time, Newsweek, Ms., and the like. But if you're interested in finding out what lawyers are saying about the issue, or you are interested in getting more detailed information on the Roe versus Wade decision, you may want to refer to an index for law journals. If you're interested in the possible psychological effects of abortion, you may want to go to Psychological Abstracts to find articles in psychology journals. These three sources, the library catalog, the Reader's Guide, and specialized indexes, will give you a good start on any research assignment. From there, you can fill in the gaps in your information by consulting the numerous other sources mentioned in this lesson. There are a variety of other materials which can provide statistical information, locate quotations, and generally give a myriad of facts and figures to help support your paper. But keep in mind, the most important resource in the library is the librarian. The librarian can guide you in your search for information, help you avoid wasted time, and instruct you in the use of equipment and materials available. Even if you think you know your way around pretty well, there are always new acquisitions or materials you may not be familiar with. A librarian can help steer you in the right direction.
This is PBS.